Hello? 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 If you can hear this, it's not too late. I return to warn you. This is Time Pop, a podcast that discusses time travel and pop culture. There are spoilers. I've seen the future, and nothing is sacred to these folks. Your past, present, and future are sure to be ruined. Even if you could go back in time, as I have, you will never forget what you are about to hear. You've been warned. This is Time Pop.
But do I sound better or worse is the real question.
You sound good.
Okay. All right, well then I think it's time to welcome our chrononauts.
As we guide you through the experience of time travel using pop culture as our dead pixels. We will be your constants. I am Dez.
I am Ari.
And I'm Scott.
And that means this is...
The Time Pop.
Time Pop!
Yes, it is. Today, in the present, we will be discussing Parallel from 2018. There are a lot of parallels out there, folks. We are discussing the 2018 version of Parallel from the past, and you will listen to it in the future, which is now.
Movie phone.
So I've seen this.
You have?
And I rarely watch time travel movies for free anymore. Because, you know, if I'm not making big fat podcast dollars for Time Pop, I don't bother watching. And it must have been right around when we had to take our break. Like, I must have been watching it thinking like, oh, Ari and I will do this in a week or two. And then we didn't do another.
In 2018?
Well, I don't think I watched it the moment it came out, but whenever I did watch it, because I can't imagine watching this and then just being like, whatever, we don't need to talk about it.
Maybe it was COVID times.
Maybe you didn't think it was actually time travel.
But I watched it. Oh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Maybe you're like, this doesn't count.
Yeah.
Which is something we will be discussing today if this says time travel. Or not.
Where did you come across this movie? Did you just find it clicking around on Amazon and watch it?
Yeah, I think my algorithm knows that I like time travel. So now it's like, here, what about this one? What about this one?
This is one of those movies that every movie that's underneath it that says you should also watch, I want to watch all of them.
Wow.
Like,
yeah,
there's a lot. I think there's another time traveler or two, but they're all beautifully weird sci-fi. That's going to be our new podcast called You Should Also Watch, where we look up a movie and then watch all the other movies that
the suggested
are linked
movie. Yeah.
So many podcasts, so many realities.
Oh, wait, have you told our listeners what we watched yet?
Yes.
Oh, was I spacing out?
Well, I threw it out. I threw out the simple version, but this is a movie that you can find on Amazon Prime right now called Parallel. Again, the 2018 Parallel. It is about, the short version is, a group of friends stumble upon a mirror that serves as a portal to a multiverse, but soon discover that importing knowledge from the other side in order to better their lives brings increasingly dangerous consequences. Do you concur, Scott?
That was a really good short summary, Des. I'm really proud of you right now.
God bless IMDb.
Yeah, no, but that was short. Yes. That is what it's about. And, you know, this feels like other films we've seen, right? When you mess with the thing that you're not supposed to mess with, there's consequences. Friends turn on each other, right? That's kind of
a lot of consequences.
There's a lot of we can count all the consequences.
Yeah.
It's at least 6 good consequences.
So there's been a few movies we've done recently where it's been questionable whether or not it's been time travel or time travel has been a small element of the movie, but still technically in the movie. So I feel like this movie falls into this category where questionable whether it's time travel, but there is technically a little bit of time travel in it. So it qualifies. Yay, let's talk about it.
I say yes.
Yeah.
Is it time travel or time dilation?
Oh.
I don't know the difference.
Is that considered time travel? Is time dilation considered time travel?
Well, because I think time travel you can actually control a little bit, where time dilation, it's just like, boop, it's 5 minutes ago. Like, time dilation would be, I think, what astronauts.
I mean, Interstellar, it was the same. Yes, I did it. I got it out early. Interstellar, is that not the same? I mean, then he goes beyond time and space, sure, but it's experiencing time differently.
Yeah.
Essentially, we've said that's a time travel film.
I mean, you traveled that amount of time. You traveled some distance. In this movie, they use the time dilation. I think we can still hear the movie playing. Then.
Yeah, we can hear your movie in the back.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, which means it's probably recording. I was like, who am I hearing? Who else is here?
Oh.
Desmond's so intense about he plays the film as we're talking about it just to keep it fresh.
Did it go away or can you still hear it?
I cannot hear it.
Yeah, what am I?
Okay.
No, but what I was saying is they intentionally used this device to manipulate time, to travel more time in this alternate universe than in their original universe. So to me, that qualifies as time traveling.
I think definition based, I think that's time dilation. Time dilation is the difference in elapsed time as measured by two clocks, either due to a relative velocity between them, special relativity, or due to a difference in gravitational potential between their locations, general relativity.
Interstellar.
Yep, basically Interstellar is the answer.
Okay.
But they do go back. So what I can we get into this? Everyone out there, I hope you've seen the movie because it's kind of hard to talk about this at all.
To experience a week of time and come back to the same moment you left. I get what you're saying.
It is technically time dilation, but
Yeah.
I mean, so time travel is just going further back. I mean, if you think about it, the definition was having two different clocks, and the times are now different. If you take a clock with you back in time, it's the same time. It's 3:00 there, but it's 3:00 in the past, but it's just a different year. So it's not time dilation.
Well, I think, okay, so time travel would be...
Question. Is the arrival time dilation? Is that actually travel? Or is that just seeing time differently?
That's almost like that's everything everywhere all at once.
I know. I'm just saying in the arrival, you see different things, but in the end, you learn that they just see time differently, and we're experiencing what the future and past is. There's not really any travel, so we're starting to get into is our show based upon how you manipulate and experience time? Is a loop that you can't control time traveling?
So I think it's different because they have, in order to time travel, they have to go somewhere and experience real time, and then.
But they did that in this movie when they went into the mirror. They went somewhere and they experienced real time.
Yeah.
Time dilation. Instead of if they just went through the mirror and it was 1950, that would be time travel. But they go through the mirror, they hang out for 37 days and then come back and it's 5 hours later. That's time dilation.
I think it's time travel. I think it, by definition, is time dilation because the clocks are going to be reading different, but I think it is also time travel. I think you traveled.
Well, because it's more time travel when you come back. You're traveling back in time.
Yeah.
35 days.
You experienced a week, but you came back to the moment you left, 5 seconds you left.
Oh, yeah. It's like they traveled into the future and came back.
In Interstellar, remind me of this. I think the whole film then is right timed it. Like it's the gravity of the planet changes stuff, right? His experience of time. And then later on, he sees the past, but he's also changed his whole how he perceives time. That's why he's seeing her in the past, but it's all happening at the same time. He's just like, is he ever traveling through time? Not really, right?
Yes. When he's shuffling through the...
Well, no, but he's in a fourth dimension where he's experiencing all time at the same... He doesn't go back there and stay there. He's just experiencing everything. He can go to anything.
He's traveling to the future.
But he's experiencing it all at the same time. I'm just saying, I don't know.
No, he's not. He's not experiencing all that time when he goes to visit his daughter who's super old.
No, when she's younger.
In the bookshelf.
He's kind of in that big library. He's just gone to another thing where time and space don't really mean the same thing. So he's seeing that past. When he goes back to see her in the future.
But he's traveling back to communicate with his daughter.
When he meets her in the future, it's because of the time dilation of gravity and space. I'm just wondering if he ever officially time traveled. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't think he did.
I think he did.
I think he time dilated.
I think he did. And I think this movie, that the parallel is also time travel.
No, I do. I agree with you. I'm just saying I think dilation counts.
So okay. So every time they go through the mirror, they don't know which parallel universe they're entering.
Correct.
But every other parallel universe, time moves in the same distance compared to theirs.
It moves the same speed. Yeah. Weird, right?
That's weird.
Right. Different worlds should maybe occur at a different speed.
And it should be the future. If time in the parallel universes are moving at 180 seconds per, I have the math here, I have the math. Where's the math?
Was it every parallel?
1 minute equals 3 hours.
Was it every parallel universe? Was that exact time?
That's kind of how they mapped it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they never talk about, and because they come back, they discuss every time they run a couple tests, and every time they run a test, they figure out that 1 minute equals 3 hours, and they know, okay, if we go through here in code for 38 days, we'll be back in 5 hours. And they do that math, and the math checks out, and there's never a question in it. So if time is consistently moving that much faster in the other universes, then it should be the fucking future.
Well, I took it as all those new inventions that guy was stealing were because they are so far in the future. But then you would run into yourselves older, which they didn't do. Anytime they ran into themselves, they were the same age as them. So there was a little bit of, they contradicted themselves.
I think they're just alternate. Have you guys been watching For All Mankind by any chance?
No.
It's a super interesting alternate history where basically the moon race never ends. Russia gets to the moon before us, and then we get there right after them, and then the moon race never ends. Like, they just keep on leapfrogging each other. And so because of this, just imagine it. If we were constantly developing technology to go to the moon, all technology flows downhill from the government. So like in this universe, they get a lot of our 2010 tech in the mid 90s. So I think some of these alternate universes, I don't think they're actually the future. I just think if there's a million alternate universes, there's one out there somewhere where someone created anti-gravity boots in the 80s,
Right.
Yeah, but that was, if all the other worlds are running faster than theirs, yeah, they should have ran into their older selves.
They should be fucking dead.
Most of them are.
I mean, at 3 hours per minute, I mean, it should be the year 10,000 in most of these universes.
Well,
yeah.
They experience it as it is there. It doesn't feel like, it's like gravity.
Yeah, I wish that different universes moved in different time frames. I think that would have I get why they didn't get into it, but
yeah, they needed that one law just so they could write their code faster than their competitor.
Right. Well, and it makes sense that one universe would be like that. But the fact that it was just a given law, like if they're like, okay, we're gonna duck in and out a couple of these universes.
Yeah. So within this movie, they made a lot of laws, right, within their universe that really benefited the main characters, benefited the story, which is fine. That's what people do to write a story. But it's interesting how none of the other parallel universes versions of themselves found the mirror and used it for themselves.
Yeah.
It was always like this one universe was the only one.
Well, the end suggests otherwise, but the end of the movie suggests that did happen.
What do you mean?
You remember the end where she got swapped in the bathroom?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But you're right. I would have thought that would happen more. And like all these possibilities in this multiverse, other ones would have, I guess it was random things that led to it, but yeah.
Yeah, because if there's a million universes out there, then there's probably more that have a magic mirror.
Yeah.
So these folks, right, they find a portal, they go to another world where they can use up more time, and they get the pitch for the app that they're trying to do, the time that they needed.
Yeah, they got
the guy that was trying to cheat that. And then they get greedy, right? Now they have a successful app. They should have been fine. And then they feel like they have to go in there.
And we learn right away that these universes are not identical, because while they're coding their app, one of them buys a lottery ticket, brings it back to Alpha universe, and it loses.
Yeah, they try to use this other universe like it doesn't matter. It's very strange. Like, why was their first instinct for the guy to steal from himself?
Yeah, I kept going to different versions and stealing his wallet.
Yeah, he kept stealing his other version's wallet. It was such a weird choice. I don't get that. So
real quick, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna run through some things. We'll get there very quick. So they know there are micro variations between these universes. They start running a bunch of tests, and they realize that it feels like 99% identical, except for art and
creativity, right?
creativity, like the creative artsy people, that stuff seems to vary a lot. So they're like, okay, that's where we're going to make all our money. We're going to bring all these scientific breakthroughs and art. They realized that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone starred in Frankenstein.
Mona Lisa's hair was short, which really for the time doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So they start, making money off of, bringing back tech and stuff and selling it to startups. And then, so they start making all of this money. And how does this even work to go to a parallel universe where they, in theory, are broke as fuck and don't have any money, and you're going to steal his wallet to go on shopping sprees?
But they were successful. No. In that universe, they got the app. But even in this universe, they did too. So why are you stealing? You just sold an app to a major company. I think they were suggesting that they didn't have any problems in the other world and they'd made the app.
I think they were just bad people. They were just they were greedy, bad people. Like the one guy wanted to actually blow up $1 million and
so you're stealing it just to
immature kids.
So she used it to steal people's art and push it off as her own. The one guy used it to get chicks somehow. And this is where I don't understand why an alternate universe that's any different than in ours, unless he's trying to use you still can't you can't do things to people's minds. They're still humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. This girl says your friend is a warlock. And then his friend says, hey, if you're not too busy groundhogging day girls, can we talk for a second?
But he's not repeating time, and so there's nothing all he can bring is information from another universe and then he's able to get the one he has a crush on because introduced her music like that. She has a boyfriend in this world, but because he plays a song, she's like, I'm all in this universe. It's no matter person.
He's got the because of all these parallel universes, he's got the hot links to all the unreleased stuff, like music that REM didn't put out in this universe.
But that's gonna get someone to fall in love with you who has a boyfriend, is that you play a song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weak, but I'm sure the writers were like, what can he use?
They're 23-year-old fuckboys. Like, you can get pussy with a hot song.
Yeah, I think we were not supposed to like these people.
No, of course not.
To feel for these people. So they're like, okay, what things can you do? What things can a crappy person do in an alternate universe? Steal from themselves, blow stuff up. But it was done well. I did not like these people.
I read some article that compared it to a few films, and one of them was like Flatliners, and one was Primer, and just some of the ideas they take. I think of the movie Last Supper. If you guys ever saw that, or that first Owen McGregor film. What was the one where they kill somebody?
Oh, I was thinking Trainspotting, but that's not it.
In The Last Supper, they have a thing where there are a bunch of liberals who kind of like to invite someone to their dinner and like debate with them, like a conservative. And then this one person comes in and somehow, I forget, they accidentally kill them. And then they like start doing it, inviting other conservatives and killing them. And then of course they get carried away and they're killing people just because they don't like, they disagree. And then they start killing each other. And like once you have that first sin, everything kind of topples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it reminded me of that. And then they're jealous of each other and they're spying on each other. And I get that kind of film. It just seems so unnecessary. They just sold their app. They were just about to make a lot of money and they just start stealing from themselves right away.
Well, yeah, the disregard for the other versions of yourself, like it's still you.
Yeah.
Like you don't have any feeling for yourself in another world.
Yeah. It's a real reality. They're real people and they start just treating them like, it kind of brings up when you see like clones, when people don't treat clones like they're real, and if they think this is like your alternate self, just doesn't fucking matter.
Because they go into an alternate world and beat up the guy who was originally going to swing in underneath them, and this company was going to use their app instead of the guys we're looking at. And they're walking after one of them beats them up. They're walking out, and one guy goes, "That's still a real
yeah."
And he goes, "Who cares? It's just an alt."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's still a person." And he's like, "Is it?"
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, that main guy was like super evil. He did a good job of being just evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting how one of the main people, one of the four, got shot and died. And their solution was, we're going to steal the same person from another universe and somehow he'll just fit in. Everything will be...
Yeah, one night. You were drunk. You forgot that we sold it and you got this job and this all happened in one night. He's like...
Yeah.
There's the one guy that's just like, he's really hardcore stealing tech from other universes and trying to become the nowadays Thomas Edison. There's another guy who's using it to get girls. The Lena is using it to steal art, and she's repainting all these paintings from alternate universes to put together her art show. And then there's Devin, who keeps going to alternate universes to try to find one where his father didn't commit suicide.
Right.
So that's all of the, and while they're doing this, Lena and Devin mostly are reading through the diaries of the original woman we see at the beginning of the movie who kills herself to take over the life.
Her alternate version, yeah, to get her husband back.
So the two that are reading those diaries are really being like, I don't know if this is so good. And then the two that aren't reading the diaries are just like, wee, Wild West.
Yeah.
No, we can't be stopped. And this mirror can be turned off. Like at the very beginning, they try to move it down to the basement and they realize it's bolted. And in doing so, they bend the mirror and it turns off. So it's got to, I was hoping, that's another thing, is that I was hoping that depending on the angle,
Me too.
would be how far back you went.
I was hoping that depending on the angle, you could decide which universe you go to.
So when they first started testing it out, they kept finding themselves having the same barbecue, right?
No, I don't think so.
It was just one time.
Just the first time?
It was just one time.
Okay.
Yeah. They just kept, apparently they always hang out outside in the alternate universes, even though it's freezing cold winter. One time they're like having a catch, when they're having a barbecue, and it's like snowing and icing outside. And I'm like, they're so outdoorsy. They're Canadian.
That's a thing that we'll talk about when we get to the end. I think it's always a little snowy in the alternate universes. I think that's supposed to be a clue for us.
Hmm.
And I'll have a capper to that in a minute. But because for a minute I thought that the alts always started at the same moment in time, like it was locked to a certain moment in time, like I don't know, when they moved in or something. But it's always, is it? So when you go through, is it the exact same moment in time? Like, is it?
I think it's supposed to be the same time.
July 3rd, 9:49, and you step through it, and it's July 3rd, 9:49. But now the dilation starts.
Yeah, that's what I took it as.
Okay.
I don't know, Ari, if you felt different. I think.
Yeah, there was one part where they were drawing their diagrams, and explaining the science very quickly as they all do.
Yeah.
That they talked about how, it's the same time when you go through it. I don't quite remember.
They're so nonchalant about what they discover, like what this changes about your thought about time and space, and and instead they're just kind of like, it's like a toy that they just got. You know what I mean? They're just so nonchalant. Like, it was cool that they try to do the work of figuring out the time, but it's just a plaything. I mean, how much, if you discovered this with this, fuck with your idea of really what everything is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, would you keep it a secret or would you share it with the world?
Jeez. That's a good point. I think it would keep it a secret, right? It's too dangerous to share. I love how they don't go into any origin story about where this mirror came from. It's just a thing that's there.
Yeah.
A time-traveling portal mirror.
What does it say it does?
I have no idea.
It resets the timeline. Yeah, no, I heard him say that. I think
Let me see.
It says it resets the timeline?
each time you go through, it resets the timeline. But they've said it's many universes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means, that they...
Resets the timeline to when?
To a new timeline? Maybe it resets to a new timeline?
Oh, maybe that's what they mean. It resets to a new, completely different universe, one you've never been through before.
Because it doesn't make... They said it was multiverse, so they're not saying it's one universe, and they're not going to the same time. It's a good film if we can't even think about all the things. I do think the ethics, it brings up some ideas for me. It brings up the idea of like Avengers Endgame, where like he's going to borrow the thing from the Sorcerer Supreme. And she's like, okay, but like bring it back to this or you're dooming this universe.
Yeah.
And he has the respect of like, yeah, I got you. Or 1 Minute Time Machine, where she says at the end, oh, you've died in so many other realities. How romantic. And you get to see every reality where this person dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it brings up both of those ideas, I think, for like ethics in multiverse. That's me, Scotty Lifton, ethics guy.
Oh my God, the ethics in this movie are just super effed up.
Yeah. First of all, just stealing from another one for this, but also just screwing yourself over, beating up people in other realities, stealing from yourself.
Yeah, stealing a whole human and convincing them they live in this alternate universe.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I like how they covered that, right? They think like he'll just get by. There's so many minute little things that are different that he starts going batty.
Yeah.
Of course, someone would feel like a little bit off.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he gets trapped in his own like Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do like a Berenstain Bears thing, right?
Yeah.
They totally do a Mandela effect. Maybe that's what's happened. Maybe all these people who are confused.
I love that theory because I'm on the Mandela effect. I do think it was the Berenstain.
So did they, just a little side note here, a little sidebar here. Did they made a movie called The Mandela Effect. Has anyone seen it?
I have not.
No, I remember looking at it.
I feel like we should see if that is what it's about, the Mandela Effect. And
I remember reading about it and it didn't sound as good as I'd hoped.
that would be cool to do if it has time travel in it.
Mandela Effect movie. Here it is, 2019. It's like a detective who becomes obsessed with the phenomenon.
Oh yeah, I think that was one of the movies. That was one of the If You Like This.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say anything that leads them.
To have time travel.
Oh,
Yeah, so you know how we started doing this however many years ago, Desmond? 3 years now? We've been doing this?
4.
4 years now?
Yeah.
Within that 4 years, time travel in movies have become so mainstream. Well, now I'm seeing that parallel universes, alternate universes is becoming more and more mainstream.
Yep.
So,
in another universe, that's what our podcast is about.
right. It's all about alternate universes.
Parallel universe.
Our podcast is called Time.
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 Parallel time.
So yeah, bad morality.
Yeah.
It's like a horror film. They just go down one by one.
Yeah, I liked the reveal of how they showed that the Devon guy was not the original.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just realizing that? Being like, oh my god, my Devon, the one that I was falling for, is gone. He's probably dead.
Such a moment, yeah. Or like the fact of at the end, I forgot the main baddie guy, the Mr. Robot guy, but like the one gets killed and you think that's him, and then you see one from an alternate universe and you realize the alternate universe one was the OG one, and the one that got killed was some sort of decoy.
Yeah, so at some point, just to explain this to the listener, at some point, is it Noel or Josh?
Noel, right? Yeah, Noel.
Basically has recruited other versions of himself so he can basically just do more shit.
Yeah.
And then what happens? So do we just assume that Josh killed Devon and then recruited another Devon?
Yeah. Kept him at that house to avoid the stuff. But then she left her phone with him. And so he found, I guess, a video that the other Devon had left him, and that kind of filled him in.
Yeah. And then Devon realizes that he's an alt because he gave her Alpha Devon. Oh, that's right, because Josh catches them fucking. So Lena and Devon have sex, and then Devon says, "Hey, I've been carrying this art show pamphlet in my pocket ever since you did it years and years ago. I loved your old shit." And then she keeps it, and then when she meets, so that's why Josh kills him most likely, and then he brings another Devon that hopefully isn't so infatuated with Lena.
How creepy that he's been going after her in every alternate universe.
Yeah, that was a creepy moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he showed her photos. Here's me with you in all these alternate universes, but with you never.
Their smile isn't quite right.
Yeah.
You're the one.
I like that idea that like things are just a little bit off. Like the idea that Josh was like, so many things felt off, and that, yeah, even the same person in another universe is still not your person.
Like you couldn't tell which one was from your universe.
You could feel that difference. It's cool.
I have to say that the way that the main creepy bad guy got sliced in half was very satisfying.
Oh.
I thought, first of all, it was done well.
Yeah.
Right? And then he slid down the glass and you saw his inside.
All the organs, yeah.
It was done really well. I was like, oh yes, that was so satisfying to see that horrible person die in that way.
See, you can handle some horror movies, Zara. That was the most
this is
shit I've ever seen.
Totally. That's gorier than most horror films.
Or is it the jump scares?
I don't like the jump scares. I'm fine with gore, but the like jump scares or the like anticipation, like something bad's about to happen with the scary music and the build up and the build up and the.
A lot of horror films don't have jump scares. A lot of them are more slow, gross.
Yeah, no, I don't mind gross and scary like that.
Yeah, those organs, they did a solid job. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll defer to the nurse about the accuracy, but the intestines might have been longer.
No, I thought it was done well. It was very satisfying to see him die that way.
So when Devon found his dad in the alternate universe, like he'll probably never be able to find him again. Like if he doesn't, I was thinking Devon.
He just needed the talk.
Yeah. But now that's going to be weird between that alt Devin and his dad the next time they meet.
Yeah.
That old Devin never had the conversation with his dad.
Well, yeah, but if he ever talks to his dad again, his dad's going to remember already having the conversation.
They're probably not in the same. He's not in that universe. He's back in like universe 1.
I know.
I know, but he's talking about the Devin from that universe that he visited. Scott doesn't get it.
You don't take the place of the person when you go to the other universe. So when Devin...
This is alt Devin is now in our universe. Yes.
No.
But which alt is that?
Before that.
If every time you go in, it's a different alternative universe, then the Devin's dad that you talk to, the Devin that stays in that universe doesn't remember having that conversation with his dad. And then Josh can't just go get that Devin.
Oh, hang on, Des, hang on. Scott is confused. Okay. So what Desmond is saying...
Devin's dead.
No. Before that, before he died, the scene where he visited his dad in jail.
In an alternate universe, yeah.
Yes, but what Desmond is saying is the Devin from that universe that he visited,
Yeah.
still exists, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if one day that Devin from that universe decides to visit his dad in jail, his dad will have already had that conversation.
We had that conversation, right?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Good explanation.
We've been talking about time travel for 10 years. I didn't think explaining the fact that there was 2 Devins in a universe was going to take 4 goddamn minutes. We've been talking about this for 5 fucking years.
You're talking generically. It almost made it like they switched Devins or something.
Which they did do eventually, but not that Devin. Yeah.
Because it makes it more confusing when you realize that every time they go into a universe, it's different. So they can never, at least as far as I can tell, you can, if you're like, oh shit, I want to go date that Lena from world 873.
You can't get back there, yeah.
Like, yeah, unless you just jump in and out of the mirror a million times.
I liked how when it started, there was a little bit when they first discovered it that they were very like methodical about it, right? How they tried to time it and they did their tests and then they went to the universes and we're just gathering data and looking in like street names and stuff. I thought that was pretty neat. Like when they were just first like, let's figure this out. But then they just did some basic shit to just get some money.
Yeah. Then they got greedy.
All this about time and space in the universe and what it all means. And like, I know a way to get some money.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a few dollars. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know how significant this is? What a significant find, what this means about everything and how fascinating. And they're just like, I'm going to go cheat my way and make $1 million.
Yeah. It would have been cool to get a little bit of an origin story behind the mirror.
Yeah, I was just saying that before. No story, just a portal mirror just existed there.
Yeah. And even though their mirror is broken, all the other mirrors on all the other universes are not broken.
We've seen films do sequels for much less than this premise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you can do like 4 butterfly effects, you can definitely do more mirror portals.
And this was a Blumhouse too.
What's a Blumhouse?
Which is, speaking of horror films.
It is?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That ending in a science fiction film would never show so many guts. That's like, those are people that make horror and just kind of dabbled a little outside.
Yeah.
Is that a horror movie making company?
Yeah. They're the reason horror is still halfway. Well, at least it was. They might have, I don't know if they've outlived their welcome yet, but
Are they the ones that like made all the Saw movies or something?
no, that was Twisted Pictures. And I don't think they ever did anything else because they didn't have to.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse.
So yeah, I think it was worth our time. It was an interesting little jaunt into time dilation travels.
Yeah. Entertaining.
Absolutely. This was a great movie. And I'm so at the end, so they kill the Joshes. Noel's going crazy. So Noel confronts Josh, ends up killing him. Lena and Deb. What happens to does that Josh? Do we just assume he somehow he just goes to therapy and figures it out?
Josh is dead.
Or what about, Noel?
Both Joshes.
Noel
gets killed.
Did Noel get killed?
He got sliced by the mirror.
Yeah, remember he got sliced with in the mirror with his organs? We've just been talking about it. He got sliced. He went through the mirror. They shut it.
That was Josh again.
Josh died. Josh got shot. Noel died at the end.
Which one's the asshole?
Noel.
Oh, Noel's the asshole. So Josh got shot.
Yeah, both Joshes are dead.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So Devin and Lena clean up the mess. They decide they're just going to go on with their lives. And they go outside. And I'm pretty sure this is the only time I saw snow in Alpha timeline. I'm pretty sure, because it seems to never be snowing there except for when they're stepping out.
That's interesting. I don't know if I remember. I mean,
and then that's why I was like, okay, something's going on here. I was like waiting for a real, what's the one with the camera, the 24-hour camera?
Time lapse.
Oh yeah, that reminded me of that one too.
Where like we realized she's really been masterminding the whole thing.
Yeah, it felt like that.
And did you guys get the sense that Lena was masterminding the whole thing, or did you just get the hunch that she just
no?
Or do you think the Lena that took over her body is from, I mean, I guess
an alternate universe?
So at the very end, they've broken the mirror, right?
Yes.
And then we're supposed to believe that Lena got swapped in the bathroom of like a gas station.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So one of the alternate Lenas discovered how to use any mirror
or another one that happens to exist in a gas station.
Yeah.
From their world to ours. Because this was like a one-way ticket. It was only our world to theirs, right? Oh no, because the other alternate Noel used it. Anyway, yes. This other Lena came in.
Yeah, how come we didn't?
Such a horror film ending of like the fake sense of like it's all over now, and then the happy, and then road trip, and then the little setup.
Yeah, this movie must not have done well enough for them to do a sequel.
None of these movies have sequels. We've seen great movies that are just like obviously great ideas that you could really expand on and go nuts with. And I don't know what it is about time travel movies that are just one and done.
Can we talk about what we would do if we had this mirror?
I was waiting for it. Oh,
real quick. I'm sorry. Just so, because that's the other thing we didn't get into is there's got to be other universes where these kids found the mirror and we never run into them. So at some point, oh no, we think this Lena found a different mirror. Or do you think this Lena found the mirror in her attic and stepped through it before it broke?
I think it's different. It's just letting you know that there's something else brewing. The enemy is not gone. There's multiverses. Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. What's happening in your universe, Ari, when you find your parallel mirror?
So if I found this mirror, definitely would go through it, but I'm not sure what I would do about it.
I would like, I'd want to see what my alternative self was doing, right? I want to see the differences.
Yeah, I'd want to meet my alternate self and see if there's any differences in their life.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't try to I wouldn't rob it any more than I would my reality. I guess the idea is like you're not accountable, but
yeah, but the you that's in that universe could be held accountable.
Yeah.
They just had so little, they just didn't care about their alternate selves.
Yeah, you think you would have more sympathy for yourself. This idea of time travel films where like you kill the other versions of yourself to exist. At least that makes more sense. That's survival. But just to kill your other version of yourself, I think that would be a pretty difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
It's you.
Because there should have been, with infinite parallel universes, like, yeah, they should have come through to like, and had their like whole neighborhood be like really run down.
Yeah, more differences.
Or come through and have their neighborhood be really, really fancy, or have the mirror somehow be somewhere else.
Yeah.
What
would you guys do with the mirror?
I would probably use it. I would use it to save time in this universe. I would go edit in the alternate universe and then, or go watch, like if it was like, if we had to record in 15 minutes and I hadn't watched this movie yet, it'd be like, I got this.
No, I like where you're going with this, but like I could take breaks. I could have like 2 hours. It's only like a few minutes. I could learn an instrument quicker there and not lose time here.
I could be talking about the parallel that stars Matthew McConaughey and I don't know, other actors.
Desmond would I feel like Desmond would go to this other parallel universe just to go to a video store and just watch all the movies and see like the what do you call it? The Eric Stoltz Back to the Futures.
Do you know Quentin Tarantino directed the new Ghostbusters movie?
Jeez.
And I'd bring that information back and I'd use it to get chicks. You haven't seen QT's Ghostbusters?
Oh my God.
Come over to my house.
Man.
That's true. Using the time difference to your advantage would be
right, without doing anything, just using the time difference.
Yeah.
Like, or you could go in and get like an extra 3 hours of sleep in like a few minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go sleep for another 3 hours.
Your work breaks would be like several hour work breaks, so it would just be a few minutes.
Go take a nap and then come back and go to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's fun. You could take like dates, like your weekends or overnights. You could, in a few minutes, have like a weekend with your lover and come back and you missed only a few minutes.
Yeah.
Possibilities of that are more exciting.
Yeah. The time stuff.
The time dilation, yeah.
The time travel. The time dilation. There you go.
Here's a crossover joke from the Wheel of Time. I would go to a universe where Owen Wilson gets all of Matthew McConaughey's parts.
Rules.
That universe exists for sure.
It does. A lot of Nicolas Cage universes too.
Yeah, if you had like, you could totally Three's Company it. You could have 3 dates on one night and you could pull it off.
Yeah.
Could you? No.
I don't know.
Oh no, you couldn't, because one of your dates would have to be in the alternate universe. So the date from this universe. So Mr. Farley is still catching me in this universe.
I don't know if Ari's getting your reference, Karen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's before her time.
We need to make a silly 3-camera sitcom about time travel, and just the wacky antics would never end.
Anyway, time travel.
People love us, Ari. We can talk about anything. People love.
You're gonna bore them.
You know what hasn't changed? This wonderful podcast talking about time travel.
Time travel, please.
Way to bring it all full circle.
We're talking about time travel. Hell yes, we'll always bring it back to time travel. Thank you for listening to Time Pop. We hope you have enjoyed this journey through time. Please like, subscribe, and tell a friend about Time Pop. Check us out on Instagram. That's where I am mostly these days. At Time Pop Pod. That is at Time Pop Pod on Instagram. Keep sending us great movie recommendations and send us some great TV episode recommendations. I think we're going to start this fall. I think we're going to start releasing weekly, and we'll make our off weeks short TV episodes so we can so it won't increase our load too much. Get some more stuff out there for our fans to listen to. Please like, subscribe, and rate Time Pop, the Time Travel Movie Podcast. Please do that. We love making this show. We're going to make this show anyways, but we do need some help. I will grovel just a little bit because iTunes doesn't care how much you listen to the show. They care about how much you like it and rate it and star it and all that good stuff. That's what makes them happy, and that will be what makes the show more popular and make more people listen to it and grow the show and grow your listener community. So win-win! Until next time, I'm Desmond McNeese.
I'm Ariel.
And I'm Scott.
Bye-bye.
Three's Company is a sitcom that you would find very lame from the late 70s, early 80s about a male living. And it's so like a male living with a blonde female and a dark-haired female. And the blonde female is like the hot one, and the dark-haired female is the smart one. And every episode, what happens is he's in like a kitchen with one of them. The other is like in the other room, and she hears maybe they're like making food together, but she thinks all the terms they're using are sexual innuendos. He's like, "Oh, how's that? Oh, that's real good," or whatever. And then she gets it all in her head and acts funny to them. And then finally, in the end, it comes out, "No, we were just cooking."
And
they built many seasons off this premise.
And in order to live with these two women, he's got to pretend to be gay.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember why.
Which they just, because there was an old fashioned, I guess, landlord and who felt weird about single male and 2 single females living together. So he had to pretend he was gay. Wow, how different the times are. And they don't awkwardly, because of the time, they don't ever say the word gay. They just have to like imply little things. This is fascinating. Even late 70s or 80s, that the concept of like
whoa.
Heterosexual males and females couldn't live together.
Okay, whoa, what? Okay. Why are we talking about this? Why did you guys just explain to me?
Because he brought it up. It was a whole tangent.
Okay, please edit this out.
Oh,
Yeah.
No way.
None of our listeners want to hear.
Come and knock on our door.
No, please edit
We've been
this out.
waiting for you.
That was the most boring thing you guys have ever talked
Where
about.
the laughs are hers and his, Three's Company too. Do 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 do. Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com. Oh my God, Scott. Who stars in Three's Company in the alternative universe?